On the edge of a beautiful Cherokee village, a husband and wife lived in peace. Or so it seemed. The husband, a proud and hard-working man, was known for his strong spirit, while his wife was gentle and kind. They had lived together for many years, raising children and caring for their land. Yet, one fateful day, their bond began to fray. A disagreement, small at first, grew into something more, breaking their harmony. Tensions rose between them, and words were exchanged that could never be taken back. The woman, hurt and angry, packed a few belongings and walked away from the home they had built together. With every step, her heart grew heavier, and the world seemed to lose its color. The beautiful mountains surrounding their village, once a symbol of peace, now seemed cold and distant. She wandered for hours, searching for solace, unsure where to go or what to do next. Yet the path ahead would hold something unexpected. As the woman walked, the Creator watched over her. Seeing the sadness in her heart, the Creator decided to help, though not in the way she might expect. Along the path the woman walked, tiny bursts of color began to appear, small, sweet berries that seemed to glow in the morning sun. They were strawberries, their bright red color contrasting against the rich green of the earth. The woman had never seen such fruit before, and she stopped, intrigued. She knelt down to pick one, noticing how sweet the berry smelled. Curiosity overcame her anger, and as she tasted the fruit, her heart softened. The sweetness of the strawberry filled her mouth, a taste so pure and lovely that it made her think of her husband. The more she ate, the more she remembered the love they had shared, the laughter, the warmth, the times they had cared for each other. A feeling of peace began to replace the anger in her heart, and she realized that no quarrel was worth losing the love she had for him. The woman walked further, and with every step, more strawberries appeared. It was as if the earth itself had conspired to heal her. With each berry she tasted, the anger that had once consumed her began to dissolve. She thought back to her husband and the way he had cared for her over the years. Though their words had been harsh, she knew deep down that their love had not been broken forever. The woman continued walking, but now her heart was light. She no longer felt the need to run away. The earth had given her a sign, a simple, sweet offering of love. She thought of the man who had once been her best friend, the one she had promised to stand beside forever. Her heart longed for reconciliation, and she knew that she needed to return to him. With her heart healed and her thoughts clear, the woman made her way back to the village. She felt a sense of peace within her, something she had not felt in a long time. The sky above seemed brighter, the air fresher, and the earth beneath her feet steadier. She was no longer running from the past, but embracing the future with an open heart. She knew that the Creator had guided her, showing her the way back to her love. As she walked, the strawberries she had eaten lingered in her mind, and she wondered if they had been a gift from the Creator, meant to heal not only her heart, but also her marriage. She reached the village as the sun began to set, casting a warm golden glow over the homes and fields. The sound of children laughing and women working in the fields reminded her of everything she had left behind. When she arrived at her home, the man stood outside, looking toward the horizon. He seemed lost in thought, unaware that his wife was nearing. The moment she saw him, her heart skipped a beat. He had always been strong, his presence a comfort to her, but now she noticed a sense of sorrow in his eyes. It seemed as if he had missed her as much as she had missed him. Their eyes met, and for a long moment, neither spoke. It was as if the weight of everything they had been through hung between them. She could see that he had also been hurt, but now, as she stood before him, the hurt no longer seemed insurmountable. The man's shoulders relaxed as he took a step toward her, unsure of what to expect. In that moment, the woman realized that the first step toward healing their relationship was forgiveness. She had walked away in anger. but the Creator had shown her that love was stronger than any disagreement. The strawberries had reminded her of the sweetness of their bond and the importance of love and reconciliation. "I'm sorry," she said, her voice soft and full of emotion. "I shouldn't have left like that. I was angry, and I let my feelings control me." Her words, though simple, carried the weight of everything she had been carrying inside. The man stood still for a moment before speaking, his voice just as soft. "I should have spoken differently," he said. "I didn't mean to hurt you. I was angry too. But now that you're here, I know we can find our way back." His words brought a sense of peace to the woman's heart. It was clear that he had missed her just as much as she had missed him. She took a step closer to him, her hand reaching out to touch his. Together they stood, side by side, letting the quiet embrace the space between them. The quarrel, though painful, had not destroyed them. It had only made them stronger. They had both learned the power of words, of forgiveness, and the importance of understanding each other's hearts. Over the days that followed, the man and woman worked together to rebuild their relationship. They spoke more openly, listened to each other with kindness, and made a commitment to never let anger drive a wedge between them again. The strawberries had been a reminder that sweetness could heal even the most bitter of wounds, and they were determined to cherish each other. As they worked together in the fields, side by side, the woman noticed the change in the way they moved together. There was a new rhythm, a sense of peace that had not been there before. The Creator had given them a gift, not just in the strawberries, but in the ability to forgive and love again. One morning, the woman woke to the sound of birds singing outside their window. She smiled to herself, feeling the warmth of the sun on her face. The world outside seemed brighter than it ever had before. The strawberries, now in bloom all around their home, were a constant reminder of the love and reconciliation that had taken place. Her husband was already outside, tending to their garden. As she joined him, they exchanged a look of quiet understanding. The quarrel was behind them now, and in its place was something much stronger, a renewed love, and a commitment to never again let anger stand in their way. Together, they had found their way back to each other, with the Creator's help. Years passed, and the woman and her husband grew older, but the lesson they learned that day stayed with them always. The strawberries, sweet and red, became a symbol of their love and the importance of reconciliation. Whenever they faced a disagreement, they would remember the berries that had healed their hearts and led them back to each other. Their children grew up with the story of the strawberries, learning the importance of love, forgiveness, and never letting pride get in the way of a happy life. And as the years went by, the couple never stopped caring for each other, never stopped loving each other. The strawberries, a gift from the Creator, had given them more than just fruit. They had given them a lifelong lesson in harmony. As the years passed, the couple's story of reconciliation spread throughout the village. The strawberries, once a simple gift from the Creator, became a symbol of love and healing for all who heard the tale. People began planting strawberries along their paths in honor of the couple's journey, hoping to heal their own broken relationships. The village, once burdened by tensions and misunderstandings, grew closer as a result. The people learned that conflict was inevitable, but it was the willingness to forgive and seek harmony that defined them. Every time the village celebrated a feast, strawberries were served, not just for their sweetness, but as a reminder of the healing power of love. The couple watched with pride as their village flourished, their own marriage stronger than ever. They knew that the Creator had blessed them with more than just strawberries. They had been given a way to teach others the importance of understanding and peace. One day, as the couple sat by their home, watching the sun dip below the horizon, their grandchildren came to visit. The young ones had grown up hearing the story of the strawberries, and now they wanted to know more about their grandparents' journey. The woman smiled as she gathered the children around her, eager to share the lessons of her life. "Tell us again, Grandma," one of the children asked, her eyes wide with curiosity. "How did the strawberries help you and Grandpa find each other again?" The woman looked at her husband, who smiled back at her with warmth in his eyes. They had lived through so much, and yet the story of the strawberries was as fresh in their hearts as it had been all those years ago. She took a deep breath, ready to pass on the wisdom they had learned. "Well," the woman began, "it all started with a disagreement. Your grandfather and I had a quarrel, and I left in anger, not knowing what I was doing. I thought walking away would make me feel better, but it didn't. The path I walked was long and lonely, and that's when the Creator gave me the strawberries. Their sweetness reminded me of the love I had for your grandfather. Slowly my heart softened, and I knew I had to return." Her grandchildren listened closely, fascinated by the story. They asked more questions, eager to understand the power of forgiveness and reconciliation. The woman told them how the strawberries had changed her heart, helping her realize that love was more important than pride or anger. The man added, "The sweetness of those berries helped me understand that no matter how hard things get, we must always be willing to make things right." The children nodded, their young minds soaking in the lesson. The couple knew that their legacy was not just in their love for each other, but in the way they had shared that love with the world. As the seasons passed, the village continued to honor the strawberries. Each year, a special festival was held to celebrate the fruit and its meaning. The festival, known as the Festival of Sweetness, became a time for people to come together, share stories, and heal old wounds. During the festival, people would exchange baskets of strawberries, telling the story of how the fruit had helped them find peace. The community, once divided by misunderstandings, now stood united, all because of the simple act of reconciliation that the strawberries symbolized. The couple, now elderly but still full of love for one another, looked on with pride at the thriving festival. They had never imagined that their small act of returning to each other would inspire an entire village to embrace forgiveness and unity. As time went on, the couple grew older, but their bond remained unshakable. They continued to walk together, hand in hand, as they had for many years. The village respected them not just for their wisdom, but for the love they had shown one another throughout their lives. One evening, as the couple sat on the porch of their home, watching the stars twinkle above, the man turned to his wife and said, "The strawberries have brought us so much more than we could ever have imagined. They've brought healing, they've brought unity, and they've brought love, but most of all, they've brought peace to our hearts." His wife smiled, her eyes soft with affection. "Yes, my love. The Creator's gift was truly a blessing, and we were fortunate to have received it." Together, they sat in silence, content in the knowledge that their love had changed not just their own lives, but the lives of those around them. The strawberries had become a symbol of harmony, a legacy of love that would continue long after they were gone. As the years passed, the couple's children grew older and began their own families. The woman and man, now in their twilight years, watched with joy as their children took on the lessons they had learned. Their children, like them, planted strawberries in their gardens, not just for their sweetness, but as a symbol of the bond they shared. The couple's children taught their own children the story of the strawberries, ensuring that the legacy would live on. Every year, the family would gather for the Festival of Sweetness, continuing the tradition of healing and unity. The woman often smiled as she watched her grandchildren play in the fields, knowing that the seeds of peace she and her husband had planted would grow into something beautiful for generations to come. The Creator's gift of strawberries had become a part of their family's identity, a reminder of the importance of love, forgiveness, and reconciliation. As the couple aged, they often sat together on their porch, reflecting on the years they had spent together. Their love had withstood the test of time, and they had built a life full of meaning and purpose. They had raised children, shared stories, and helped their community thrive. The strawberries, though a simple gift, had transformed their lives in ways they could never have imagined. One evening, as the sun set over the mountains, the woman turned to her husband and said, "Do you remember that day when the strawberries first appeared? We were lost in our anger, but the Creator led us back to each other." He smiled warmly, taking her hand. "I remember it as if it were yesterday. It was the beginning of something beautiful, something lasting, and I will always be grateful for it." Together, they sat in silence, watching the stars appear in the sky. Their love had become a beacon for others, a testament to the power of forgiveness and the sweetness of reconciliation. The village, once again thriving in peace, had become a place where love and unity flourished. The story of the strawberries had spread far beyond their home, reaching neighboring villages and even distant lands. People traveled from near and far to witness the power of the fruit and the love it symbolized. The couple knew that their work was far from over. They continued to share their story, teaching others the importance of love, understanding, and reconciliation. The strawberries, once a simple gift, had become a symbol of healing for all who encountered them. And as the couple grew older, they knew that their legacy would live on, not just in the hearts of their children and grandchildren, but in the hearts of all those who had been touched by the story of the strawberries. In the later years of their lives, the couple often found themselves reflecting on the life they had built together. They had raised children, watched their grandchildren grow, and helped their community flourish. The strawberries had always been there, a constant reminder of the love that had brought them together and the power of forgiveness. As the couple sat together one evening, their grandchildren gathered around them, eager to hear the story once more. The woman smiled as she began to speak, her voice gentle yet strong. "The strawberries taught us the greatest lesson of all," she said, "that love, forgiveness, and reconciliation are the true path to peace." Her husband nodded in agreement. "And as long as we remember that, the circle of love will never end." Together they shared the story of the strawberries once more, knowing that it would continue to inspire generations to come. Continue with chapters expanding on the family's continued growth, the community's embrace of the strawberries' symbolism, and the lasting impact of the couple's legacy. As the years continued to unfold, the village and its people flourished under the lessons of love and reconciliation. The woman and her husband, now in their twilight years, often walked hand in hand through the fields where the strawberries grew in abundance. The fruit had become not only a symbol of their love, but also a tangible reminder of the strength of community and the power of healing. The once small story of a quarrel and the discovery of strawberries had transformed into a legend that reached far beyond their village. People from all corners of the earth came to witness the power of reconciliation, to taste the sweetness of the strawberries, and to share in the healing of their hearts. The couple, though aging, never ceased to share their wisdom. They gathered their children and grandchildren around them to pass on the lessons they had learned. The importance of love, patience, and understanding continued to be their guiding principle. They spoke of the strawberries with reverence, knowing that the simple fruit had given them so much more than they could ever express. The couple's children, now grown and with families of their own, continued to honor the tradition of planting strawberries. It was no longer just a seasonal event, but a year-round commitment to peace. Each year, on the anniversary of the day the strawberries had first appeared, the entire village would gather to celebrate the festival of sweetness. The strawberries, once a symbol of a personal reconciliation between a husband and wife, had now grown into a community-wide reminder of the strength that could come from unity. It was a time of healing, not just for families, but for the whole village. The festival was filled with music, dance, and stories, as the community shared their own tales of reconciliation, love, and growth. The children learned early the importance of mending relationships, the joy of forgiveness, and the power of sweet peace. The woman and her husband, though growing older, continued to watch with pride as the village thrived. They had not just rebuilt their own relationship, but helped heal the hearts of many others. One morning, as the couple sat together on their porch, looking out over the vast fields, the woman turned to her husband. The years had weighed on them, and their once vibrant energy had faded, replaced by a quiet contentment. She reached out, taking his hand gently in hers. "I think it's time for us to rest," she said softly, her voice filled with a peaceful resignation. Her husband squeezed her hand, his smile gentle but knowing. "We've lived a full life," he replied. "Our love, the strawberries, and the lessons we've shared have all helped to shape the world around us. Our work is done, but the love we've shared will never fade." They knew that their time together was drawing to a close. The village, their family, and the land they had loved would carry on their legacy. As the couple sat together in the fading light, they spoke of the years they had spent together, of the good times, the difficult times, and the beautiful, peaceful moments they had created. With the couple's passing, the village mourned, but their love and wisdom lived on. Their children and grandchildren continued to uphold the traditions they had set in motion. The strawberries, now grown in abundance across the land, symbolized not only the love of the couple, but also the ongoing journey of healing and reconciliation in the hearts of all who tasted their sweetness. The Festival of Sweetness continued, stronger than ever. The new generation, taught by their elders, carried the story of the strawberries to new communities, spreading its message of love, forgiveness, and the power of the Creator's gifts. As long as the strawberries grew, so too would the lessons they embodied. The family gathered around the original strawberry plants, now full of ripe fruit, and shared their memories of the couple. The woman and her husband may have passed, but their teachings lived on, rooted in the hearts of all who came after them. Years turned into decades, and the village remained a beacon of peace and unity. The children of the couple became elders, passing on their parents' wisdom to the younger generations. The strawberries continued to flourish, a living testament to the love that had started with a simple fruit and a quarrel long ago. One day, as the sun rose over the mountains, a new couple sat together in a field of strawberries, watching as the fruit ripened. They had heard the story of the strawberries, and now they, too, would pass it on to their own children. The circle of reconciliation continued, with every generation adding its own chapter to the story. The villagers, young and old, knew that the strawberries would always be there, a sweet reminder that even the hardest times could be healed with love. The circle of life, just like the circle of the strawberries, was eternal. Every harvest season, the community would come together to gather the strawberries that had grown in abundance. It was a time of reflection, of remembering how far the village had come, and of honoring the gift the Creator had given. The berries were gathered not just for their sweetness, but as a reminder of the sweetness of love and reconciliation. As they filled baskets with ripe fruit, the people would share stories of their own experiences, of times when they had reconciled with a friend, a family member, or a stranger. It was a celebration of unity, of the power of forgiveness, and of the lasting impact of the couple's love. The community had grown stronger, its bonds tighter as each year passed. The strawberries had become more than just fruit. They were now the essence of the village's spirit, its heart, its soul, and its unwavering commitment to harmony. The story of the strawberries was passed down for generations. From grandparents to grandchildren, from parents to children, it was told time and time again. Each retelling was slightly different, shaped by the experiences of the tellers, but the message remained the same. The woman and her husband, though long gone, lived on in the memories of those who shared their tale. They had shown the village that no matter how broken a relationship seemed, there was always a path to healing. It was the path of forgiveness, the path of love, and the path of unity. As the years went on, the story of the strawberries became a central part of the village's identity. It was no longer just a tale of one couple, but a universal story of the power of reconciliation and the sweetness of love. The generations that followed the couple knew that they had been entrusted with a great responsibility. The legacy of the strawberries was not just to be preserved, but to be nurtured and shared. Just as the original couple had planted the seeds of forgiveness, it was now up to their descendants to continue planting the seeds of love in their own communities. Each year, as the strawberries were harvested, new seeds were planted, symbolizing the hope for future generations. The act of planting became a ritual, a way of ensuring that the teachings of reconciliation would never be forgotten. It was a reminder that peace required effort, care, and time, but that it was always worth it. The village flourished, with more and more people coming to learn about the power of the strawberries. It became a destination for those seeking peace and healing, a place where the love of the original couple had rippled out and touched the hearts of many. One evening, as the sun set behind the mountains, a gentle breeze blew through the village. The wind whispered through the leaves of the trees, carrying with it the voices of those who had come before. It was as if the spirits of the past were still watching over the village, guiding the new generations with their wisdom. The villagers gathered together in the fields of strawberries, feeling the presence of their ancestors all around them. They spoke softly, honoring the spirits of the couple whose love had started it all. It was a time for reflection, for gratitude, and for the renewal of the village's commitment to peace. As the breeze carried the whisper of the past, the people felt the connection between them, the past and the future. The strawberries, the symbol of love and reconciliation, had become not just a fruit, but a living part of the village's spirit. The couple's great-grandchildren now sat together under the shade of a tree in the village, listening to their elders tell the story one last time. The once quiet, small village had transformed into a thriving community, with the teachings of the strawberries echoing in the hearts of all who called it home. The great-grandchildren asked their elders, "Will the strawberries always be here?" "Yes," their elders replied. "As long as we remember the story and continue to love and forgive, the strawberries will always be here to remind us of what is truly important." And so the legacy continued. The strawberries, as sweet as ever, were a symbol of the enduring power of love and reconciliation. As the sun set on the final chapter of their story, the village knew that the circle of love, peace, and reconciliation would never end. The strawberries, a gift from the Creator, had started as a simple act of kindness, but had transformed into something much larger, a living testament to the power of forgiveness and unity. The people continued to gather, to celebrate, and to plant the seeds of love. Each generation would carry the story forward, ensuring that the circle of reconciliation would continue forever. And as long as the strawberries grew, so too would the spirit of love that had been planted so many years ago. And so, the story of the strawberries lived on, not just in the hearts of the people, but in the very land that had given them life. The circle was complete, but the legacy would never fade. Thank you so much for watching. We truly appreciate your time and support. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like, comment, and share it with your friends. Your feedback means a lot to us. Make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an exciting new adventure. Until next time, stay tuned for more heartwarming tales.